Hello friends. Today, in another internet guitar lesson from Adrian, I'll be talking about my favorite exercise of slowing things down when you can't play them properly. I find that guitarists, most of my students, and most musicians in general, have the big issue of playing stuff too friggin' fast. You run into all sorts of problems there, namely being that you won't learn things properly. In fact, you may not even learn things at all because a lot of people will try to play things quickly and then give up in frustration. Or people will be trying to practice something, and every time they make a mistake they get angry and they get faster and faster and faster, and it's just completely counterproductive. So I'm going to give you a tip or two on how to work that out. So my general motto is that if you can't play it slow, then you can't play it fast. So you should never start learning something fast. Start learning it slow, as slow as you need to play it properly. It's really easy to hide mistakes when you're playing guitar, especially if you have some distortion on and you're doing some crazy shredding. But when you don't have the distortion on and you're trying to play too quick, it can all fall apart real easily. And the problem is that you may actually end up learning things wrong if you don't give yourself enough time or space to learn them properly, and if you're not hearing the mistakes you're making, your fingers will actually build the muscle memory incorrectly, and you won't actually learn to play the thing right. I've had to relearn entire guitar riffs and entire guitar solos before because I was too excited about what I was learning, and I was making mistakes, but I wasn't really paying attention, didn't really notice, and I actually learned some stuff completely incorrectly. So the best way to avoid that is, well, I'm going to tell you right now. First, you want to give yourself time to assert control over your fingers. You have to give your fingers, or your hands, or whatever you're using, if you play with your feet, I don't know, your teeth or your tongue, you have to give yourself enough time to actually tell your fingers what to do. If you're learning something new, if it's a new technique, if it's a new song, it's something you're not comfortable with already, if you're not giving yourself enough time to actually assert control and command your fingers, then you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not going to learn stuff properly. Your first thought when you make a mistake should be that you're going too fast. Almost always when I'm playing and I make an error more than twice in a row, I know that I'm playing it too quickly and that it wasn't just a flub. So I'll be doing something like this, and I'm like, okay, that's not what I want to do. I'll try it again. I'm still chopping it. Alright, obviously I'm doing this exercise too fast. I'm going to take it down a notch. Alright, now I can do it okay. Now I can speed it up some. Still making mistakes. Obviously I need to practice it some more at that slower speed until I'm more comfortable with it. I see this very commonly even in beginning guitar players with chord changes. They're not used to moving their fingers that quickly because chord changes have to happen very fast. Excuse me. Or they're learning a new chord and their fingers don't have time to get to it. But they want to play guitar. They don't want to sit there strumming like this because that's boring for everyone. So what they do what they're comfortable with, strumming a chord. And when they go to change, but that's just not going to work. You're not giving yourself enough time to change a chord, obviously. But if you're playing everything up to speed like that, and you're not learning to get your fingers correctly into position, and you're doing it quickly, then eventually, once you do have it at a faster pace, you're probably going to be doing it wrong, and your chord change is going to sound like crap. What should be happening there is that you need to play it, the whole thing, whatever you're practicing. Even if there's one little spot that you're struggling with, you have to play everything right before it and right after it as slow as you need to so that you don't have that error in there, or so that there's no interruption in the rhythm in there. And that way your fingers actually do learn to play it properly. So in this case, what I should be doing is giving myself enough time to actually think about moving my fingers from the G to the D. And even then, it wasn't perfect, so maybe I should slow it down some. And of course the problem here is you don't get the immediate gratification of, yes, I can play a song up to speed, but if you do yourself this favor and spend a day or two working on something slowly, then it's going to help you in the long run, for certain. This really helps if you do things with a metronome, keep track of how fast you're doing stuff. So I'll give you an example of an exercise I stole from Martin Golding's website, all in quintuplets. And I can play it at a decent speed, but I'm going to crank it up a couple notches on my metronome so that I make mistakes. And so the first thing that I should be doing when I'm making a mistake is slowing her down. So kind of like when you're playing catch with a friend, and every time you make a catch you take a step back. And then if you miss one, you take a step forward. It's the same type of idea here. So I'm going to try the exercise at 90 beats per minute. And there I messed up a little bit. Alright, let me try it again at that speed. And there we go, another mistake. Alright, I'm going to take it down 5 beats per minute, see what happens. Still making mistakes, take it down another 5 beats per minute, try it again. And there I forgot how to play it. Obviously I'm still playing it a little bit too quick. So the idea is you want to get it as slow as possible, or as slow as you need it to be so that you don't make any mistakes, get comfortable with it at that speed, and slowly build it up. And using a metronome is a great way to keep track of your learning curve in that sense. Anyway, that's all for today. Hope that was helpful.